Good evening, folks, and welcome to Legends of Runeterra. This is my go-to cozy game when I want to wrap up with my phone, chill back at my desk, and just have a relaxed time. Now, over the years, this game has gone from pretty PvP-centric, started going in the PvE direction, got kind of backlashed back into PvP, didn't make them any money. Things started going very poorly, and they have doubled back into PvE in a much bigger way, albeit with a much smaller dev team, unfortunately. But they're starting to hit their stride, leading it in that direction. Now, I did enjoy the PvP elements of this game, but for me, it was more impressive as a window into the world behind, dare I say, League of Legends. Ooh. A game that can have its problems, let's say, can be a little stressful to play. I wanted to engage in this world and these characters in a way that didn't necessarily have to be facilitated by League of Legends itself. In 2020, along came Legends of Runeterra, and I have adored my time with it over the years. Its biggest pull for me is kind of building on the world and its characters. Delightful card art, little bits of lore. The voiceover and dialogue between cards and characters I absolutely adore. And again, with the changes that have been made to the dev team, they've had to pull back on a bit of that for the upcoming stuff. We know they've got Ambessa and Warwick coming from Arcane, and they've just put Fiddlesticks in, who plays in a very amusing way, but it still remains an excellent way to gain some insight into the world of Runeterra, and a way to engage with those characters without having to go whole hog on League. And so, in the PvE mode, we have a variety of adventures to complete. There's monthly challenges where you can unlock the glorious Star Dragon himself. Did that a while ago. Many quests to do, weekly things to do. When they overhauled it for the PvE content, they added a bunch of new currencies and things that level up different characters that, to be honest, I don't fully understand. What I do understand is the roguelike nature of this Path of Champions mode, because I love a good roguelike me. At some point in the history of this channel, there's going to be a full section of roguelikes as time goes on. But that repeatable nature, if you've played Slay the Spire or anything like that, it'll be pretty familiar. Now, I've got a quest at the moment to wrap up a battle pass, which is to heal damaged allies. Best way I can think to do that is with Kayn. Now, if you know your League of Legends characters, you'll know. Let's see. Start the game, all players summon 2 coastal defenders. Ooh. Foe summons a copy of the strongest follower that died last round, and they're tougher. Kayn, I remember, it's been a while. I've only in the past few weeks started getting back into this on the weekends. I think Kayn can handle this. We'll swap out of Fiddlesticks for now. Again, just in a effort to get this quest done. Where are you? There he is. The Darkin, for example, are cards and characters that within League itself you only got a few of. You know, these ascended Shuremans who are turned into dark, corrupting, evil weapons. And you didn't get much of course, in League. They can only do so many. And here, it got so expanded upon, and I love it. They're one of my favourite factions to consider. So when they got added to the game, it was like, oh. And they've done that for all kinds of stuff. The dragons in the... Oh, don't get me started. The dragons in this universe. When they make that MMO, eventually, it's going to be wild how much they can draw from. Yeah, give me adventure. They've added a lot since I last played. Many different adventures and higher difficulty challenges and like nightmare challenges that are crazy difficult. Sometimes the UI decides to fight me, but that's okay. They also added an option to speed up the combat, because things can get pretty out of hand in this PvE mode. But given this is the first stream, we're going to start it on the regular speed, just so people can get to grips with the outset rather. Start off by travelling down these different lines, making choices as we go. Again, if you've played anything like Slay the Spire or any other roguelites, you'll recognise this format. So what we get, whenever we play a slow spell, we get a copy of it for the same targets. When we get a champion, we get a copy of it. Allies that cost 3 or less are lurkers and have lurk. Hover over any of these words you don't know, and they'll let you know what's up, essentially. They do have a grand old set of tutorials, and the PvP is still available. It's just they don't really support it with new cards and stuff anymore. Trying to remember how Kane works. Yes, I want to beat stuff and fight so my things heal, get stronger. Very good. Don't believe I have any slow spells to make use of that. No, 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 no. The problem with summoning a copy of a champion is the weapon Kane has, his big old scythe, will jump over to that copy, which I don't want. So I'm going to re-roll. We got a legendary. Shuffle 10 level 2 champions into your deck. They cost 1 less. Well, that seems ridiculously silly and broken, so we'll always take the legendary. First fight. Foe reduce the cost of their Plaza Guardians everywhere by 1. Plaza Guardian is a 6 power, 6 health card with something called Quick Attack. That every time you cast a spell gets cheaper. There's a lot of cards in this game now. I have the D&D board because I had to. I love it. Which gives me different background music. They haven't done boards in a while, as they weren't selling as well as they would have liked. Again, all this big shift from PvP to PvE was despite everyone going, oh, we wanted more PvP. They weren't spending any money on the game, so it was a little difficult for them to keep supporting it. This is an equipment card, so we can equip it to our unit down here. That'll give him Challenger, which means he can basically pick someone to fight. Then I can get this other equipment. Now, stuff will seem broken, overpowered, and fast if you've never seen this game before. Do that attack there. You can hover over this eye and it'll tell you the outcome of a fight, as long as there are no random elements or spells firing off. A little artifact there buffed our friend. Do a bit of damage there. Now, what you're not going to see from me is the most expert level play. There will be misplays. There will be bad orders. All that kind of jazz. But I should love to play it.
Yes, a weapon to cut through the shadows.
Some of these Piltover and Zorn cards, for those who have enjoyed Arcane, fitting in there. When this mode first came out, they did a bunch of stuff with Arcane crossovers, with Vi and Jinx and all that. It's good stuff. Right, we'll survive that. They'll survive that. It'll get him. The AI on this difficulty, not too much of a bother. Our unit heals after winning a fight from our power. So that should mean my daily quest is getting done very quick. Let's see. We can play our little scout lady, or we can summon a champion. Again, if you've played League of Legends, you will recognise characters and champions. Scout. With Quinn. Scout means she can kind of attack twice. We get this first attack, and because she's leveled up, we get our good old friend Valor the bird. Will attack and grab someone for me at the same time. Evening, AJ. Misplays from me? Absolutely. Evening, Burnout. Hope both of you are doing well. Now, I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Mainly just buying cards that I thought looked cool, more than anything else. But what I love most about Legends of Runeterra is, as you saw there, our opponent kind of cast a quick spell in response to something. And every turn, you gain 1 mana as it goes up. Kind of like how you'd use your lands in Magic, or as a mana would go up in Hearthstone. And any mana you save gets banked into this little bit of spell mana that can only be used on spells. So for example, if I play this cultist here. Now then my turn, this 1 mana will kind of bank into here. But rather than say Hearthstone or Magic where you take your full turn, you end your turn, your opponent takes their turn. Legendary Runeterra is a very back and forth game. You pass who's taking an action, but whoever's got this sword symbol, the attack token, are the ones who can attack. So especially for the PvP, it was this constant back and forth. They play this, I play a monster, they play a card to maybe remove it, I play a card to counter that removal, they do something to counter that or buff it out of range. And that back, oh man, we did the quest immediately. Awesome. Didn't expect it to happen so quick. So it gave a lot of gameplay that I felt, because I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Never at a competitive level. Grab this one because it's a card already in my deck. I then, when Hearthstone went into closed beta, I played a ton of Hearthstone. I played Hearthstone for years non-stop. And it just got too expensive. That was the other thing about this game's PvP and why it didn't make them any money, is because it was a really fair way of getting cards. You can't buy packs. You could only get individual wild cards. But the rate at which you earned them through playing just through different quests, whether that was versus the AI or players, was really quick. And so I never ended up, apart from maybe the odd battle pass, and they didn't introduce them till later, I never needed to buy any cards. And I adored this game for that. I didn't feel preyed upon. There wasn't FOMO every time an expansion came out. I had played enough where every time new cards came out, I could craft them all and pick which ones I wanted to craft. And the more you played each week, there's a big weekly vault that gets XP as you do. So at the end of every week, you'd have this big old chest of currency that you could just use to craft any card you wanted. And then they added this roguelike mode. And I was just all in. As I said earlier, I adore a good roguelike mode. So where with something like Hearthstone, I felt constantly preyed upon, here I just felt like I could play the game. But again, that business model kind of ruined it for the devs. And then players were inconsistent in their response. Let's put it kindly. But they're in a good spot these days. And it is free to play. I highly recommend giving it a go. PvP, or the PvE rather, is delightful. Let's see. The Darking Staff. Refill 1 spell mana on strike. And I can spend it as 8. This is another Darking card. That's what this deck's all about. This is Balcux. Balcux felt the tree's limb, gripped the staff inside, which he laid dormant. Quickly gripped every single one, apart from the most recent ones, which is something they're going to go back and sort. They realise they'd misstepped. But just expands the lore of this world in a way League could never do. And I love it more for that. It means one day when they have the MMO to play with, they're going to be able to do all sorts. No, well, that's the thing. They said, AJ, oh, we're going to transition to PvE because this new mode's really popular. Everyone's playing it. Awesome. And then everyone in the community who was very vocal said, no, this is our PvP game. How could you? So they walked back all those plans and then everything went to poop. Zoe there, if you've played League, you hate this character. But she gives me this little invoke thing. Lets me look at a Celestial card, which tend to be pretty broken. Not a little expensive. Spells can range from slow, fast, burst, focus, more got added over the years. Oh, mysterious portal popped up there, which summoned a unit. There's a lot of mechanics in it these days. Let's see. So even though I only have 3 mana, because I've got 2 banked spell mana, I can cast a spell that's more expensive. Because it's burst, I don't skip the rest of my turn, I just get it. Could play this lady. She will get booped immediately, though. Let's see what the enemy does. Okay, they go swinging. Can he kill any of them? You're ephemeral. So... bob you there, bob you there. Can take 10 damage. Ooh, a Mystic Shot. Does some damage to that unit. Summons him a Poro, which is buffed as well. I will... Nidlee's an interesting one, because she came with a mechanic called Ambush, where instead of summoning her normally, you can summon as a bush. Like hiding in the bush in League. And that created some very silly gameplay. like this guessing game of, oh, which card have they put? Because it doesn't matter the upper end mana cost of the card. You could just summon what have you. Right. And when I summon Kayn, I've got all these relics on him because I've leveled him up. Outside is like the meta progression for this PvE mode. It says there on the left, all the different abilities the items I've got will do on him. So when I plop him down here, I'm going to smack someone. And in smacking and killing someone, he's going to gain some stats. Then when I use him to swing, he's going to level up. And when he levels up, I'm going to rally. And I'm going to be able to swing again. Let's see, which one do I kill? You. Oh, he made one elusive. Elusives, you can kind of sneak past enemy lines. But if you're also elusive, you can block it.
I will not yield.
So, Kayn levels. That bounces him back to your hand, as well as rallying for this item. Which means I'll be able to do his little strike ability again. His weapon also comes to our hand and gets re-equipped to him when we play him. But because of how he acts in League, we can choose the Shadow Assassin or Rust. I will choose Rust because he's the Darkened and because he heals as we go.
You are the tool. I am the weapon.
Somehow I'm not surprised you played Magic the Gathering, AJ. I'm not sure why. I played the online one a little bit. I remember Ajani the White Lion. That guy was cool. I had a deck made out of him and some of the blue things. That's about as much as I can remember. And then the same problem came out. It was becoming too much of a grind to earn cards. It was becoming too much of a grind to keep up with the battle passes. And I had to dip. For my wallet's safety, I had to dip. But I was really enjoying it, actually. Give me a Celestial. Hey, look! The original Pantheon! Stuff like this. And how that expands the lore, rather. That little Pantheon down there. An original God Pantheon. Love it. He fits in what our deck's trying to do, so we'll do that. This is pretty much a foregone conclusion, so we're alright. I'm going to guess, AJ, I'm going to guess you played some form of red deck in Magic. I remember those being really aggressive of having explodey things. Now, because this was another Kayn in my hand, it transformed into his hero card, which in this case lets him attack and fight an enemy. Up. Quick DC, but we're back, thank goodness. Since 98, goodness me, AJ. Long old time, bet you really know your stuff about it. Whack, says Kayn. Bang. More buffs, more healing, all good. Now, the AI might seem like a bit of a joke here, but I promise these newer difficulties they've added have actually been quite something, at least for me. Let's see, let's slap Nidalee down.
The jungle is my home, and I am its guardian.
It's also given them opportunity to kind of rework some champions like visuals and stuff that League just never got around to. Like, Nidalee just looks so much cooler. And because cards get released together, her and Nico kind of had a little thing going on, which was very cute. And her cat form got really jacked up. In this case, we win. Enemy does a little bit of damage, but we're fine. AJ there with a red Skirkfire Marshall deck. That sounds dangerous. Black Control and Drain deck being your favourite. Oh, I remember those. Oh,
Quiet again.
seems complicated. Kept making my lion weaker. I liked the variety you could do with Magic. What stood out the most, I'm trying to remember some of the games I had for the online version of Magic the Gathering. My enemy was green and just kept playing a load of land and defensive units, and I kept going, what's your win? What's your win here? What's your strategy for winning? How do you round out this game? And then they played a card that turned all of their like land cards, all of their essentially mana, into units, and it beat me down. I was like, I don't know this game. How on earth did that happen? Round start, the foe creates an exact fleeting copy of the least expensive unit in hand. again, with Kane here, we're going to be fine. I don't feel very threatened in these weekly adventures these days. Early on at this level, somewhat, yeah. Nowadays, it's fine. The newer Nightmare ones, though, first time through them, I was like, I'll take Aurelion Sol, because he's broken. But even then, some of the newer stuff he can't quite stack up against. The newer champions, they've released with something called Constellations. And that changes how far they can be upgraded by. At the moment... hang on. I want both of them to get a kill. There you go. So Kane only goes up to level 3, and that's kind of his abilities peter out from there. The newer champions, or people they re-release into this PvE mode, go up to level 6. So they just have a lot more capabilities at their disposal. Let's see, give you this. Big old buff. Again, because of our hero power over here, for lack of a better term, when we kill a given unit, we gain a +2/+2 buff and heal to full. Because it's fun to be broken. I'll probably block with the one that doesn't kill here. Aye, that's fair. Even so, more than capable of grabbing his other stuff. What about you, Burnout? What did you play getting back into Magic? Ooh, Jack. So Legends of Runeterra also lets them create new champions that were not in League of Legends, but expand the world. Here we've got like a Vastaya Fishbird Merfolk, who's just this big mafia style. He's great, is Jack. And then he gets bigger and angrier. He came with Set. You'll hear some of his dialogue in a sec.
It's not a blood sport without a little blood.
You get the vibe. Right, we'll bob Kane down. He'll slap someone. Alright, let's body all of these. Grab you. Who can Kane grab? You grab this one. When he swings, he's got this little double hit, which means he quick attacks once, and then he can attack again.
Haven't hit you with my good arm yet.
We've been through a lot. I will not yield.
Now, the quality of these level up animations has changed a lot over time. Some are really over the top, some are right there in that beauty spot in the middle, and some are pretty plain. But it's the middle ones that kind of work when it's not too excessive. The Shuremans can level up 3 times, like Azir and Renekton and that, and it gets very silly. It's a lot of a loading screen of a game, but it's good fun. Burnout in the chat. Green and blue trying to ramp up mana and card draw, then dropping Krakens and Leviathans all over that. That sounds scary. I don't like the sound of that at all. What do you mean dropping Krakens like it's nothing? Nom 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 nom. Health for me. Jack's little ability. Him and Set both work with these coins. That lets you refill mana, and because it stacks, you can eventually get this to a point where you can refill silly amounts of mana. There were some decks, oh, what was it? It was like Karma and Set, and they do a load of stuff, and Karma, when she's leveled up, lets you cast spells twice every time. So any of those coin cards would double up on itself, so you'd end up with some ludicrous turns. People were not happy with that one. Dark Eyes in the chat. Evening, Dark Eyes. Hope you're doing well this evening. Burnout was very sad when I stole his Kraken at the weekend. Dark Eyes, do not steal people's playing cards. Very rude. Let's reroll for something more interesting. You with the Overwhelm. The Chump Wump. Round start, put a poison mushroom in my deck, or a puff cap. So I can make friends and gain a friend for me. These, by the way, if you didn't notice, are Teemo cards. You all know League to some point, you know who Teemo is. And this kind of built in how he gets his explosive mushrooms. Just here in the world, in the lore. Guess these little things to run them about. These dudes to sell them. I can fight them. Maybe take its power. So these mushrooms go onto your deck, and when you draw them, you take a point of damage. So Teemo is about planting mushrooms onto your opponent. Teemo is an elusive, tiny unit. When he hits them, he plants more mushrooms. When you've planted a certain amount, he levels up, and then he doubles all the mushrooms in their deck when he hits them. Very, very nasty. But now I made a misplay. I assume Dark Eyes have better manners than that. Disgraceful behaviour. Only partially true. Only partially. There's Zoe again. Scumbag. So, if you play her against Aurelia, like a lot of the cards have dialogue with each other, especially the champions who are released in the same set. Whenever you play her with Aurelian Sol, either on your team or the enemy team, he's got some angry things to say, or just general frustration. It's great.
For the summer field.
That's terrifying, AJ. Trample's like what Overwhelm is in this game. Some damage goes through the blocker. I wouldn't say people hated Teemo in this game as much as he was hated or is hated in League of Legends. Mainly because the ways to counter him were quite doable, especially as the game went on over time. There were certainly some early days of going, "Oh, Teemo's here." But it worked out alright in the end. Raven I liked a little less. At one point was a very strong aggro card. Not as much as power creep always happens in card games. Raven.
The party has arrived.
So, like in League, he spins his axes, he catches his axes, you put them on him. That's how he levels up. He swings with 2 of them slapped on him. Let's see. Discard you, slap that on Draven. Oh no, Draven still won't be able to kill. Oh no, it's alright, I can challenge that one, so it's not a bother.
Now we're cooking.
Which one has the buff? You have the buff, that'll buff Draven, you'll get through the backline, that's there. Grab you. Sorted. Draven gets another axe. Zoe evokes. The item on her gives me a mana back. Let's see, Meteor Shower, Obliterate stuff, or Spell Shield. I think with Meteor Shower. Draven's got another random buff at the moment, which is that little epic item on the right hand side of the card. When we play a spell, we grant him 1+1. Lovely stuff. Goddamn mushrooms. So I can see here I've got 5 mushrooms in my deck. I also have 2 poles, just from my own cards, which spawn units. Right, 4 damage to an enemy, 1 to another. 4 to you, 1 to you. Tiny, crazed creature. Too addicted to mushrooms. It's a bad time. The artwork in this game is delightful. Commit to that. Stop. Get these mushrooms out of my deck. Attack dragon. Thank you. Alright. Drop a cane. He will boop the doggo. Which creates that same combo we've done every time.
For the summer field.
Get this card for Draven, so he'll level up too.
Time for the money makers.
Not quite lethal if I grab that, but he's going to block with it anyway. Can you imagine, AJ, if you've been collecting for that long? Many collectible items in there.
Drown in shadow.
Rare cards, I imagine. Maybe even some stuff that's no longer available. The true jackpot. We rally from my little item. Draven levels 2.
I thought I was already perfect.
So he was one of the first cards to release, so his level up's a little less flashy, but I still think it does the job excellently well.
The mom's still out
And then we beam him in the face again. I have seen this Puffcat's number for mushrooms in your deck go above 100 in a game. Especially on Path of Champions, it is pretty doable to get silly with Teemo. Now, Fiddlesticks, who's like the newest champion to come out, they didn't release a PvP version of the card, so they could make it more broken. It essentially just mills your enemy's deck. It jumps into the enemy deck at the start of a game as like a terror minion, and when they draw it, it comes out on your side of the field and burns some of their cards. It's great, but they knew players would hate it. Now I plant the mushrooms. Now we could go at the shop for some more, but I don't think I need to heal. I'm going to be greedy and go at the shop, where we can buy more cards, where we can buy more powers. Ooh, we'll take Fixer Upper. Makes our starting pair stronger. I will also grab the Darkin card. Giving someone Scout seems fun. We'll grab 2 of those. Generally speaking, you don't want to dilute your deck too much. Anyone who's played card games, as many of you here have, know if you overdo it with too many cards and too many different cards, you lose consistency. I'm a fool in that regard. I like just having the cool stuff. It works really well for Fiddle. They've got all kinds of little mechanics for different champions. It's excellent stuff. Again, I highly recommend giving the game a go. I want them to keep making it. I want them to keep doing cards. Jinx is like an aggro card where you're discarding your hand, and then once you've done that, she starts creating super def rockets and shooting people. Leona has her own mechanic called Daybreak, which triggers whenever you play a card first. When you keep doing that, she shoots people with the power of the sun and stuns them all. Gets pretty out of hand. I had a Leona Diana deck. It was very fun. But for that, hello Zed. Zed, when he attacks, summons a shadow, which is like his clone. If they both strike the Nexus, he levels up, and then it shares his keywords and stats, which can get very messy. Now we've got Scout on this one, so we get free attack, which the enemy lets through. How much is this? Means the bear won't survive, but the other 2 will. That item on him is buffing cards in my deck, as it says there. Bank that mana. Put some mushrooms. Be poisoned. And ninja. Lots of Yordles and Vastaya representation in here as well, which is good. And there's all kinds of, like, just human diversity of body types, gender, sexuality. There's all kinds of stuff. It's great. I also like a lot Ilaoi and her followers, because all of that stuff with Nagake Boros I find super interesting, just as a concept. And it works really well for her gameplay. She spawns tentacles, they make her stronger. It's really cool. Oh. See how all these are kind of pink and glowy? That indicates they're elusive. We have this silent Shadow Seek here, so when she hits, she's ephemeral, which means dies when it hits. But if she hits my main health, the Nexus, as you would in League, get a copy of it. So I can't actually block any of these over here. I can deal with these. Now, this card here I can choose to buff damage or health, but it also lets my strongest ally get a random item. So I might get lucky and get an attack boost. I did not. What'd I get? Strike, draw 1. Oh no. Hey, Nocturne! Oh. Got Dark Enthrall here from my dagger dying. Very Shuriman. What looks to be a broken sun disc of some kind. Which means we can play this card on a 6 mana player as Zolani. Let me show you. This lady who went and killed like an apprentices of Master Yi. Took over their body. Crazy Darkin stuff. Also the person who tricked Aatrox apparently originally. And created a Darkin civil war. They play it a little loose with the timelines sometimes, but for the most part, it's pretty on point. Let's see. I play here. Play Leona because I love to.
Daylight breaks on the battlefield. Sunlight blinds.
But Zed is now stuck. Can't block or do anything.
Feel the sun's glory.
He'll grab this ephemeral one so it can't do nothing.
Looking for this?
Ooh. Ionian card that sends that back to my hand. It will also send the equipment it's holding back to my hand. I'm actually not looking at my health. My health's in danger. I'm in danger. Give Leona that spear. Did I just burn an Elder Dragon because my hand was full? God damn it. Elder Dragon's a new one that they made into a champion. Newer. Can just win you the game. It's ridiculous.
The undoing draws near.
Yes, yours.
I actually might be in trouble here. Hang on. Don't recall him. Oh no. Oh no. My overzealousness. My greed. Because whenever a card strikes from Zed's deck, it hits my Nexus, and I'm not paying attention. Disgraceful. Shouldn't be losing here. Right. Right. We rise again. I have one extra life.
You've chosen well.
Come here. Less commentary, more focus, more understanding. Not less commentary. That's not fair on the rest of you. Less silliness. Okay, it was a fluke. It's going to be fine. Nobody saw. And now I'm back at full health anyway, which is much easier.
For the autumn orchards. Cut the chaff. Grain to my scythe.
That's why I'm losing so much health. A little bit's going through, and then I'm about to take 8 damage. I see it now. I understand. Ow.
For the summer
You hit
field.
with Scout. Worth playing next.
Wouldn't be
Like
a
Poppy.
without some danger.
Hmm. That Zed spell at reduced cost. Summons copies. I think Poppy will actually buff herself. Yes, so she gets above all of these. Grab him. We swing.
We got this.
Tend to them. Tend to them.
Okay. Just need to get to Kane so I can heal myself a little bit. I think as long as we control the board and kill most of his minions, we're fine.
Their screams pierce the darkness.
Gonna hold off.
They picked the wrong road. For the autumn orchard.
Okay, because he's picked this card with Elusive, and I know I need to get rid of it as soon as possible.
Cut the chaff.
I can use Whirling Death here, and because we're both fighting, I can get my other card to hit it. Therefore, I take no damage, and my Nexus won't get beamed. Silly Draven Mustache. And another buff. My cards are starting to get quite silly. Give Poppy this scout buff as well.
Ready, Hammer? Ready?
Stay here. This is leveled up, of course, because of that legendary power we got at the start. While he attacks, he can't die or take damage. It's pretty busted. And when you spend 12 mana in a round, which sounds like a lot, but remember, his coins kind of refill mana for him, gains a showstopper. Where he obliterates an enemy. So obliterate isn't the same as killing one. It doesn't activate like Last Breath, which is when something dies, it has a bonus effect on it. Obliterate gets rid of it completely. And then it deals 1 to all the other stuff. Do we summon Set or do we summon Darius, though? Darius probably guarantees the kill. We're fine.
I have my orders.
Let's see. We didn't lose a match. What do you mean? Little emotes, by the way. That was the Kaiba Remember from Yu-Gi-Oh! When Exodia first blasts him?
Done well.
There's a lot of emotes in this game now these days. Especially in PvP, they can be used to miraculous effect. Completed another quest without meaning to. I love it. I'll show you next time when we get in and through. Yes, AJ, exactly that. Removing from the game. Make Kane elusive so he can block stuff like that. Through to the next. Now either I can do all these challenges on the right, or I can take the harder fight here and go straight to Draven. Which I'm going to do. Allied buffs, set barrier are permanent. Oh, that means my little coastal guard will be ridiculous. That's spawning at the start. Now this foundry that it's listing here makes it so we both draw one extra card each turn, but because theirs costs less, you can end up burning quite quickly. It can be messy. Fortunately, I think we'll be fine. Victor's stuff was a whole thing in this game as well. It was like creation and invention. We've got a leveled up Lucian, a leveled up Callista here. Both pretty strong. We give Lucian some goodies. We do want to focus on our little coast guard here. I want to dump as much out of my hand as is humanly possible. I get that, AJ. It was when I first came to this game from something like Hearthstone, the exact same thing happened. He's going to kill Lucian, you son of a gun. So trample, as you said earlier in Magic, I know from this as overwhelm, for example. You've got something like fearsome, which is can only be blocked by enemies with 3 or more power. Or there's brash, which is can only be blocked by stuff with 3 or more health. Oh, Aphelios. Aphelios had to be nerfed pretty early on and was complicated. He basically summons his moon weapons from League, and they morph into each other in a set pattern that you can manipulate. So it's a lot to consider. A bit much for me. But I did like it an awful lot. Alright. We have to get rid of those. Can't get rid of all of them. Alright, as long as I draw Kane, I end up healing some stuff. Oh, hey Kane. Thank you. Ooh, Lysandra. This will make our Nexus tough, which means it takes 1 less damage at a time. From all sources. Which also means anything that does like 1 damage as a ping does nothing. Which is very nice. Is it worth playing her right now, or is it worth playing Callista, who will summon Lucian? Because he's dead. Now, she could go and scout first, but she'll get blocked and murdered by that fella. Oh, Dead Allied follower, not champion. It's been a while. And she gets murdered anyway. It's fine. Still very much in the lead here. He has a lot of health, but our units are getting very big.
No refunds.
Discards a card to draw a card. Same again. I'm just going to play Lysandra to have some more defenses on my Nexus. He can't block, so I don't want to buff him up necessarily. AJ in the chat, back in the day you had a red and a green enchant which made you unblockable to creatures above or lower than a power of 2, which if you had them both made you unblockable entirely. Yeah, it seems like similar stuff.
Brilliant.
And a lot of the dev team had played a lot of other card games, and so there was a lot of influence on the design, as you'd expect there would be. That's kind of the nature of it. You saw like Ben Brode go from Hearthstone to Marvel Snap, which is also a very good card game. It ended up becoming way too grindy to actually unlock cards. Yes, you couldn't outright buy them, but you could spend a lot of money to speed up that process. So when all their advertisement was, you don't have to spend any money, as Ben Brode was saying in his delightfully excellent voice, it just kind of rang hollow for me. Come on, Kane, boop that one. Oh, he's transforming one of my minions into another one. Why he didn't do it for that one, I don't know, AI, but there you go. Sure. Do it with Kane first, which means he'll level.
Drown in shadow.
No. And we rally. Oh, I had no room in hand for his scythe. But it's alright, we win. Right, on to Draven. Then that's this adventure out of the way. We get some rewards. Sandra talking over the end there. Again, it was the amount of dialogue I liked. And I'm upset that for some of the future stuff, they're not going to have as much dialogue, if any. Just because they don't have the resources to do so. Which means Warwick might come out with no VO. Which I'd be very upset about. Same with Van Besser. For those who've watched Arcane. When you summon a created ally, grant it 2/2. That will be good for all the champions we have in the deck. To Draven.
Welcome to the League of Draven.
Well, Pokemon was probably the first one I was introduced to and just didn't understand as a kid. To be fair. Had a few of the cards, though. Somewhere. Now, speaking of emotes. AI likes to troll me. So, these are like the baseline emotes everyone starts with. From Wave, which went from, hello, opponent, to very quickly, haha, I've beaten you. Like, the way the meta of the emotes changed was quite something. The Darius face, they all have a little bit of animation. The, I'm doing a big play. Sad Poro. GG with the Shen. And then, over time, many, and many more. Even its unique characters. Cyphria here, great little character from Demacia, love her. My favourites ended up being... Leona was pretty great. Hang on, that's Jinx. Where are you, Leona? Happy son. Having a great time. Encourage my opponent even if they're winning. Good stuff. Where is... Bam, 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 bam. So many now. Shyvana I loved. Just let's go. People thought that was cringe, but I don't care. I loved it. And then my favourite. Asol finger guns. Love it. Alright, got to focus on the game now, though. She'll get murdered immediately when I bob her down. Let's start buffing people again. Enemy says I'm not going to attack. That's fine by me. Raven. Pardon me. These two with Scout. So I get to attack with them twice. You can Pot of Greed all you like. Team Metalhead says, Agent Chat, me would have loved Jinx. Hey, there's still emotes to be found for everyone. It's good stuff. Jinx certainly still has that metal vibe. Let's see. Do we bap something or do we play Jace? Don't have any 6-cost spells, so I don't think that's necessary. Let me bap something. You, bap that other one. You can buff it all you'd like, Draven. It's not going to help you. Right, then we swing again. And we buff the other one. Which buffs them both. Delicious damage. There's Draven again. His power on this one. When Draven isn't in play, he's summoned at the start of a turn. Or at the end of a turn, rather. The scumbag. Senna, Sentinels of Light fame. Got her own little posse as well. Which was way more interesting than what League did with the event. It's good stuff. Right. Leona will stun, the highest damage foe. The strongest.
Nothing can stop me.
Noxians. Doing what they do. Conquering. Okay, I think we do our scout attack first. Enemy hath 1 health. With Bob Kane down. Give Draven a quick slap. Come here, Draven.
Don't stand against me.
Now we're cooking.
I highly recommend watching Arcane on Netflix, AJ. It'll give you some insight. Excellent show. Season 2 is coming out in 3 weeks' time. It's very exciting. I highly, highly recommend it. Absolutely adored the show. Not just as someone who enjoys the world of League, but just as a piece of media in general. The way Fortiche does its animation and hand draws a lot of stuff and layers it over the top of itself. Beautifully done. Really stand out. And that's our adventure. We get this little nom 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 of XP. Goodbye, Draven. Lets us know our different cards. You can look through as you go at the end if you want to share your stuff. We get some rewards. The UI still gets a little funky sometimes. Again, smaller dev team now on Path of Champions. Still a few kinks to be ironed out. But I love what they've got here. I just hope it continues to be... The new monetization routes they've gone with it have worked pretty well for them, they've said in recent interviews, so I'm only hoping they keep at it. Get 3 more sets of rewards as well. Big old weekly quest. Some I've already got, so it gives me some of this dust. I wish it gave me a little more dust. I always wish it gave me a little more dust. Fragments, that unlocks champions for the PvE mode or lets you upgrade them. Got some for Swain there. I haven't unlocked Swain yet. I haven't beaten his adventure. Leona, who I've maxed out, so it gives me dust instead. And this little glowy symbol down here means I can unlock something on a champion. I haven't done much with Lilia yet. This means I can unlock part of her constellation. 2 Sleepy, +1 starting mana. At round start, create a blooming bud in hand, and if you already have one, reduce its cost by 1, which sleeps a unit. I don't quite understand her mechanic yet, but we'll start unlocking her if she's lit up. Highly worth your time, AJ. Highly worth your time, I'd say. Now, Fiddlesticks being the newest one, I want to play a bit more of. I'm just going to click on Aurelian because I love him. I love him so much. So Aurelian's abilities start out when you play a created card, it reduces the cost of allied champions everywhere. That's in deck, in hand, and when you play a champion, you level them up. You're welcome, because Aurelian knows he's in a card game, because he is the god of that world. +1 starter mana, I graciously bestow a rare or epic item upon all your created cards. That reduces their cost by 2, same otherwise. And then when you play a unit, you double its stats. If it's Aurelian, you play the Sky's Descend, which just deals 15 damage to everything. Upon all your pathetic enemies. It's busted, it's broken, I love it. The newer, tougher adventures, though, mean it's not an automatic win now, which is quite interesting. AJ in the chat, I've actually been playing the game Dev Tycoon. I've replayed it, and I'm doing another run to develop more than 1 generation of console. That came out a while ago, didn't it? I heard good things about that. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump on Fiddlesticks. I'm going to swap this relic here I haven't unlocked many of the epic relics, only a few. A lot of those tend to be behind the store or really low drop chance. They can very much break things, but there's still a lot of good stuff. Because he shuffles himself into the enemy deck, where is it? I think it's a green one. Same one I had on Aurelian. Like a necklace. There it is. Get 2 extra copies, so they will shuffle into the opponent's deck. There's your fiddle, of course. How they expanded on his lore, I found was really interesting. Being like this main demon, this demon of fear, he brings himself forth as what people tend to fear in the stories they've heard in the region. And in Demacia, from where this fiddle is based, it's this scarecrow that comes and haunts you from the fields and runs you down. But in other regions, it might be something else the Fiddlesticks turns into. Which I thought was really cool. Again, they need to add the flavor text, which was just an oversight they've said in interviews. There was one for like Lux in her nightmare, one of the Mage Seekers. Terrifying stuff. Where was the other one? There was a friendly bear in the Yordle place. Not so friendly. Eyes ooze and red. Nasty Fiddlesticks. As I say, he nightmares himself into the enemy's deck. Now, what I wanted to try and do is one of the tougher ones. Swain, I don't think I can do, just because he starts the game summoning these things that boot me in the face. And that does 1 damage a turn. I can't quite capitalise or self-heal enough to win that on Fiddle. But if I click this button, I go to Nightmare Quests and Nightmare Weeklies, which are tougher. I want to see if I can get 1 or 2 of these done. Let's see, the foe summons an arena. All cards cost 1 more. When the foe summons a unit, grant it stats equal to half its stats rounded up, and the spells and skill deal double damage. Let's see if we can fight Old Man River, eh? Yeah, Jay, I've definitely heard of that game. It reviewed pretty well from what I understand. It was one I'd be curious to try out. Glad you're enjoying. Ooh, none of these are ideal. Let's try for a reroll. Better. Grand Plaza's good, but it only lasts for a round. It is pretty good, though. Having a unit out will help when everything costs more, because Greenglade Lookout lowers the cost to summon in my hand. That might not be the correct choice, but it's what I'm going for. Oh yes, Mecha Yordles. Rumbles people, essentially, if you know the lead character. The Yordles who like mech things, what can I say? They try and build robots. Alright, so we want to get as much Terrify as we can going. I want to keep this Dread Harvester because this item on it lowers its cost every round. As you can see, it's pretty strong. It just kills the unit. And then terrifies the opponent for each unit that died. I haven't got my background turned on for the D&D background, so it defaults to what my opponent has, which will also change the music. Which is fine. It'll mix it up. You saw all those red marks there going to the enemy? That's how many nightmares are now in their deck. When they draw a nightmare, it obliterates some of their cards and sends it to my side of the field. I buffed the damn thing. I don't want my lookout to die immediately. Is that a permanent grant? It is a permanent grant. Scumbag. Send the ethereal one because it'll die anyway. That'll also terrify the opponent. If we get lucky, we just draw Fiddlesticks immediately. Oh, right, I forgot about the arena that they've also spawned. Ah! Wasn't Fiddlesticks, but it was a different unit. The Baleful Seeker. Some buffs already on it. Pretty strong that I can just get those. Play this spider, which also plants 2 copies as nightmares. Nom nom. Oh. Won that fight, and we lower our cost. Now, when my opponents are down to 15 or less cards, that triggers this ability I've got called Terrify, which was one of the shop items, and makes my stuff stronger. Let's see. I'm going to be greedy and play the elusive unit. Oh, which terrified and got me another one. Nice. That's very kind of you, AJ. You didn't have to do that, but I'm very grateful. Thank you for your generosity, bub. I say, it's very kind. Certainly give it a go sometime. We're going to be stacked shortly. We're playing this today and tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we've got Dragon Age to start. On Friday, we've got the Monster Hunter Wilds open beta to start. And then we'll be getting into Dragon Age for the long haul. Exciting stuff. Oh, there's Fiddle. And Fiddle. And Fiddle again. Oh no, it's doing it all at once. The enemy burnt 6 cards. When you run out of cards in this game, like many a card game, it ends. Oh, another Fiddle. Real shame they didn't get any dialogue. Just again, smaller dev team, less they can do. It sucks because Fiddle's dialogue is so amazing. Hang on, let me have a swig of my drink. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to even attempt it. Let me summon one of these dragons or crows. Kill that guy. Goodbye. But the way the voice actor did Fiddle, they didn't even need like any modifiers or whatnot on his voice. It's just kind of you suck in as you speak and take it low and bassy. So, kind of candlesticks and death of men. Like, and you just kind of croak your words out. I think it's really cool, but it doesn't half completely bugger your throat. How that individual did it for so many voice lines. Wild. Reviews have been very all over the place. Some people have loved it, some people have hated it, some people are somewhere in the middle. I expect I'll land somewhere in the middle, but I've really loved the franchise from the first one, so I at the very least want to give it a solid go on my own. One critique I'm aware of is that enemies can get a little, like, spongy at some point, so having it on normal difficulty or low is probably the way to go. That's about it at the moment. Which champion do we bring? Everything's going to be more expensive, so I want more bang for me buck. Cheaper units. I think we take the Lulu one. No, I don't think I'll actually, pardon me, play Lulu, but we get some healing from the Fuzzy Bear. And this lady summons herself, so that's going to help. I don't want to do my rerolls yet. Don't want the monastery. I'll take the spells. Again, that thing they've got of making all cards cost 1 more. We are outdoing by our Terrify happening. The big trailer they put out upset a lot of people, and then everyone went hands-on and were much more impressed. And that was the kind of barometer I was left out until reviews came out. And again, they are very, very varied. I would just avoid any comment section. Let's see. I think we just take the swing here. Other way around. Put them in the correct order. Bap, bap. Lowers a cost. Oh no, that Urshin's going to boot my other lady. Goddamn arena. Strongest ally, weakest enemy. Stuff like this, these like landmark cards that are areas in the world. That's now just an area in the MMO. Sorted. Done. Arena at the bottom of Noxus. Easy game. Love it for that. I could summon this owl. It doesn't get its buffs, but at least it can block one of them. Got 2 Poros. Poros get a lot of love in this game. In every region. You can have a full Poro deck as well. There is a Poro King. I think that's a very fair point, AJ. Well, he toughens one up in ways of taking in such things. The Poro King is another Legends of Runeterra champion that is unique to the game. Not done much with him myself, but I love the fact he exists. Like this guy lets me terrify, strikes the Nexus, terrifies again. He can also challenge, and every time he strikes, we do another nightmare. You can kind of see why some of these cards were not allowed as PvP cards. And people do tend to have trouble with milling. More terrifying. How many are in there now? 8 nightmares. Oh, never lucky. I'm going to summon the fuzzy caretaker just to heal myself a bit. Oh, hey, Fiddlesticks. The item we've put on him, when he comes out, he swings. Cursed robot, you leave my bear alone. Is it worth summoning anyone else or swinging? I think we just swing. Poros are certainly a tribe. They are just, they're like a creature in the world of Runeterra. They are these tiny white fluff balls with moustache-looking bits on their faces and are very silly. 99 times out of 10. You see them, if you've played League, you'll have seen them in ARAM. On the rift there. I'm going to terrify my enemy more. There are other tribes in here as well. Yordle, for example. You see some of the tribes at the top. Dragon would be a tribe. Beast. Bird. Dog. Cat. They started doing that. Well, like, this owl here is bird. They haven't done too much with that yet, but they started doing a little bit with it. Nico kind of was meant to run with that stuff. I'm going to terrify my enemy. Hang on, let's see if he summons something else. He does. We're going to terrify them again, which gives them gloom, which lowers their stats, lets me have more cards. Not much terrify. 0 dear. And if your stats go below 1 to 0, they are destroyed on the health front. A fair point, AJ. Yes, if goblins are weird and quirky, then very much so. That is what they are. They are very silly. But people adore them. Especially Brom. Brom shield many a Poro and let them ride on his biceps. It's a good old time. His whole thing in this game is working with and summoning Poros, so it kind of worked out for him. You saw in the fighting game he could just chuck Poros at people, so... it works well. Right, a little tricky, but not undoable at the moment. Well, we buffed the card already in our deck. It's always the most efficient way to go. What spell do we get? I'm not feeling any of these. Not for what I'm going with. Just want more Terrify. When the foe attack, they summon a Flame Chompers. That's Jink's little grenade with choppy bits on the end of it. Challenges my unit, which can take things out of the fight unnecessarily. Also, it's a monkey with a rocket strapped to its back because Jinx is having a good time. Keep this one to lower its cost. We keep the other cheap stuff. Oh, it starts with the baboon. Alright, fair enough. Hey, if I swing you, you're going to get me sod all, but better than him being hit by something. Squirrel deck. That sounds pretty great, to be fair.
Bring the others.
Its Poros are somewhat equivalent to that, sure.
How can I help?
Oh, free damage for you. Oh, free friend. Hopefully it has no attack. Whatever I summon's going to get beamed by the arena. Unfortunate. This survives. Lets me draw a spell. Be at risk of milling.
Excuse me?
Let's hope he doesn't have a way to buff any of these. Because this card is fearsome and it has impact, that means I get a bonus damage to their Nexus and none of them are going to be able to block me. Ooh. I think it's going to be worth summoning Lulu because she's going to beam something.
There's nothing a good giggle can't fix. That technique.
Unfortunate monkey. If it kills Lulu, that's fine. Oh, no, it goes for that thing. Oh, because they're going to get excited. Discards a card, deal free to anything. Except its damage is doubled for being a deadly encounter. These weekly nightmares for you. And I'll take that. They have no damage. Ooh. Less than 15 cards, all my stuff gets buffed from the terrifying. I can play the dragon and kill that thing. Goodbye. Crow. Sorry. It just has the... It looks dragony from the smaller art. Big bird. It's fine. Oh, we're starting to steamroll over him now. Slap another Seeker down, which will hit the Nexus. Terrify again. Everybody swing. Nom nom nom. You can play as many chompers as you want. If you can't buff them, it's fine. Oh, he's killing one to deal damage to my health. That's mean. That's the game going, I'm going to stop your runs. Put in some hermits and a coat of arms, says AJ, and all of a sudden you have 10/10 squirrels with trample. Disgusting. Disgusting. No matter what terms of card game I put that into, I know that's disgusting. In the best way. Oh, yep. More Terrify. More mill. More units. But because Fiddle can't be put into any PvP, they got to go crazy and stupid with it, and I love it for that. Hopefully it opens up their designs. I'm very curious to what they'll do with Warwick, actually. Terrify and kill most of these. Hey, look, enemy, you have no deck. GG. Kill that Poro. Nom nom nom, says the spider. And we win. Angry Renekton face. Almost there on this set of quests. The battle passes used to be really elaborate with some fancy card art and stuff, but nowadays it's more in lieu of the path for champions and giving you resources you can unlock characters with or level them up with. Take the money to the shop. Kind creature shepherds you away from the sleeping young to a small room with mysterious trinkets. Nothing for cards I have, and nothing that screams must have. Out of power. Speaking of beefcake squirrels, AJ, it's funny you should say that. This is the Swall Squirrel. The reactions from the other squirrels. When it hits something, it doubles its power. And his secret is acorn powder shakes. 4 times a day. Gets pretty silly. Never really saw a deck that got 20 meta using him, but it was still really fun. Make some very silly decks. Get a quick heal. And then the mid-adventure fight, Sejuani. I had a Sejuani Swain deck, which was constantly chip damage to the enemy opponent to the point where Sejuani came out swinging and Swain was stunning. Oh, it was great. I love that deck. And then like 2 expansions later, it became a meta deck, and I was like, God damn it. Why do I always play things when they're cool? And then they become strong, and I don't want to play them anymore. When the foe summons a unit, grant it +2/+2. Okay. It's a little spicy. It's a little spicy. As long as we get lucky with the Terrifies, I think we're okay. That seems too slow to have at the start. I don't need the heal yet. Our young witch is going to do 10 damage off the bat. No, she's not, because I can't summon her yet. God damn it. Oh, you just start with Sejuani. Likewise, AJ. Likewise. So this is bad. Sejuani has Overwhelm, which you'd know as Trample, and Regen, which means she heals any damage she takes. Now, we do have Gloom, which means we can permanently keep lowering her stats. Problem is, even if I pass my turns, the arena is going to have... It's going to eat my lunch. This might actually be a really tough fight. Hits me there, heals. Once I get to my Dread Harvester, though, it can just kill her outright. However, I just need to be able to block these other two. So we'll summon you. Oh no. Proto-Poros. Old, ancient Poros. With tusks and heavier moustache.
Born for conquest.
Mm-hmm. This is not good. Get some Terrify going, but I'm taking a lot of damage for it. And everything costing one more is really slowing me down. Why have I got 3 of the Young Witch? Oh, bigger fella. Okay. Okay, these two can hit for free pretty much.
Hear that, Bristle? Var
Get
got
this
the
one.
challenge.
So they don't get any extra mana. Not the heavier moustache. Always the heavier moustache. See, I could gloom one to death. I feel like I'm going to need that for Sejuani, though. I don't want to spend that mana yet. Or Terrify, please. Yep. Okay, we get our Harvester this turn. As long as he doesn't open attack. Ooh, we got the heal from the Fuzzy Bear. That's nice.
Men are oafish, unsuited to war.
The Ursine are neither men nor beasts.
Volibear, Tyrondamere, and Udia's people are great. For Freljord has some amazing characters in this game. I love it. Goodbye, Sejuani. Get killed. Less than 15 cards. All my stuff gets bigger. Ooh, can't kill that, though. That blocks that. That blocks this. I reap and hit it with Gloom twice, which takes it below my health. So I'm good. Or at least I survived the hit. That arena's still going to trigger it to fight the bear. Bear's done his job, though. That's okay. We're stabilizing. Fiddle's out. Be afraid. Glooms one to death. Stabs the other. Another big unit. As you can imagine, all of this Terrify Fiddle stuff in PvP would probably be a little bit broken. Just a little bit. Is that lethal? It's lethal. Goodbye, Sejuani. Good fight. Was worried for a moment there. Having her just on the board, a lot. Oh, because Fiddle doesn't have any voice lines, he can't say anything at the end either. Night or Day of Aurelian Soul, who is just over the top the whole time, and I love it. Like, you end a game, he's like, see you next time, Runeterra. He's just having a great time. Oh yeah, let's double Fiddle's stats. Make him bigger. What do we get for a power? Allies have Overwhelm, which is good, but that's like a win more. Given everything costs more, I'm going to have this one where we reduce the cost as 1 card at a time by 1 at the end of a turn. Less banned cards and more they built them for the roguelike PvE mode, as that is now the focus of the game. But if you wanted to view it that way, sure. Warden here, the foe's units have +1/+0 for each subtype summoned. That's going to get out of hand. The other one, they're just going to summon scuttlers repeatedly. Do I care about an epic spell that much? I still have a revive, but I do want to win this adventure, so I'm going to play it safe. I don't know what tougher fights might be ahead. I need to hold on to my revive just in case. Don't like the owl. We'll keep 1 witch. I said keep 1 witch game. Any card game. Goddamn mulligans. Should have kept the owl. Keep forgetting I can't play the witch turn 1 because of the cost increase. Who'd you get that gear from, kid? Who's asking? You an enforcer? I am, but I ain't asking. There are little bits of story, but they've been few and far between for the mode.
What have we here?
We're hoping with the release of Arcanes next season they do a little more with... Ow! Son of a gun. Restricted. Alright, if we're going to get technical terms, AJ, restricted we'll go with. I can't do nothing.
Happy to do whatever's needed.
That card here will come out, but they can't block because of the attack buff I gave them.
Off we go! Roll out!
Enemy already has 15 or less cards, though. Got plenty of health. So while this is a lot of damage... Ow, ow, ow! Oh, it attacks the non-ephemeral one. Curse you, game.
Just borrowing.
No, you're going to be 5 mana, so you're not going to work. Rat. I can play Lulu because she hits something and I can start clearing the board a little bit. Even if she then dies, I need to start clearing the board.
Well, this isn't the glade. Whoa. And hugify!
Doesn't actually buff it at all, but that's fine. My gods. Their spells and skills dealing double damage is way more problematic when there's a load of Piltover stuff. Piltover have a lot of like damaging spells and removal. Oh, I'm cleaned out again. It's alright, we can stabilise with our Harvester. Depends what they play next. They're not playing anything huge, so I don't really want to use it for that. Let's play the Seeker so we terrify more by beaming their face.
I'm on it. Excuse me?
Ow, ow, ow! Discarded a card to do some damage. I just need some Terrify procs. Come on, game. How many are in there? 9. With only 9 cards left? Oh, yeah, it's coming. Came out, got beamed, gone again immediately. That's fine. They've got 1 card left in hand. I'm on all. Like, I've got it all. Fiddles here. Game is mine. And you see in the P... Oh, he doubled his stuff. That's a lot of stats. There is the option to make the game go twice as fast. But as I said, for this first stream, I'm going to leave it as is. Or I may do it to ×2. Any more than that and it's experimental. So it could cause the game to crash or things to go a little crazy and wonky. Even on ×2 speed, the dialogue kind of goes over itself a little bit. It is certainly a lot faster though. More of that battle pass done. It's just resources for the mode. It's nothing too crazy. Let's see. You having rally on. Don't know if it'll come up, but it's better than getting different cards. Get some gold. We have a lot of gold. We have too much gold, if anything. What you got, shop? Always check powers first. No, I don't want to replace my units. Start the game with 2 lookouts already in play. It'll help hold the line. And now, I don't actually want more of this card in my deck, but because we start with 1, it being +3/+3, it's pretty good. Don't need all else. Then we can either get a Mind Meld or another shop. I think another shop, depending on the foe. Those units have quick attack. Troublesome, but given how we've been fighting on the defensive, nothing I can't deal with. No such thing as too much gold. Not when I can't be spending it. Okay, that's alright. Don't get a turn 1 play, but we already have stuff on the board. And that little buff to our lookout. Yes, puts him at 6/5. Very nice. Oh, but they just start with this dude. With a spell shield. Crap, that's pretty good. He has double attack and quick attack, which doesn't work because double attack is basically an empowered version of quick attack. We start swinging and hurting it though. I want my dread thing out as soon as possible.
It only turned back.
And the more damage we do, the more we terrify our opponent. Now, spell shield stops me hitting him with a spell, as you can wager. You kind of have to pop it once. There's the damage again. Problem if we don't block this dude, because he doubles up, that's 16 damage on a swing.
I see a little.
Oh no, that's got Challenger, which is going to remove my other dude out of the way. Get the Terrify one. have to block that guy, or that's way too much damage. Problem. Summon Lulu, who will hit the strongest one and kill him and get him out of the fight. Then we have nothing, but he's out of the fight. Oh, and we got a Terrify. That's nice. That at least has somewhat on the board.
What's today's lesson?
What can I bait out here? 2 Gloom is -2 to the stats. My thing doesn't survive that. Better to swing now than when something's buffed, though. Oh, but he does that one. Which means I can have it survive. Yes. Nopeify! Sometimes I forget cards exist. It got rid of my card. Sadness. It's like a counter spell. It's alright though, we get our Harvester out next turn. Let's see what he summons. The Jeweled Protector. Very dangerous. Get eaten. He's going to kill my Dread Harvester immediately. Oh, no he's not. Fiddle's here. Hey look, and now we're fine. Stabilized. Got lucky with the Fiddlesticks. We'll heal a bit with some of our Fuzzy Caretaker, but I think we open attack here. All the board's clear. Guarantee some damage in. Delicious.
The dragon speaks through me.
Definitely need that heal. Spell Shield doesn't always work when it's big AoE spells, so we'll see next turn. Fast is like one step behind instant. Burst is like instantaneous, happens before a turn happens. Fast still allows your opponent to react, but it's faster than a slow spell. So Burst, for example, we just hit and it goes and it's still our turn. Breaks his spell shield and does that for that one.
I see a little backup has arrived.
You need new jokes, Kyan.
That would have nearly killed me. Right, Fiddle's holding the line. Put more nightmares in. How are you on? 9 cards, 5 nightmares. And Fiddle has Overwhelm. Ooh, if I hadn't have summoned something else, Fiddle would have died. Still not quite lethal. Take the thing that lets me rally, so we get another hit. He's giving it Challenger. But we can swing. Fiddle put some gloomed. AI gave up. And they said down the line, when resources let them, they've heard the community's response and would like to give voice lines to stuff. Yeah, AJ, that's a good way to put it. Something that can't be countered, because it comes out immediately. There's a similar one called Focus, but Burst you can do whenever you gain a reaction. Focus you can only do when you have the initiative. So it's like different types of Burst at that point. Hard to explain. And the game has a lot of decent tutorials, to be fair. My hand fills up too much for that. Oh, a legendary. First time your Nexus runs out of health each game. Heal it to 30 and grant everything a buff. Beautiful. That sorts us out. Do I heal at full or cut a card? Who can I get rid of? Who's been useless here? You've not been great, but you terrify. You on this difficulty, false friend, false indeed. You're getting the chopping block. Tam Kench, though. Oh man, River.
Into which all travels in.
Another character who greatly benefited from all the bonuses of this game and all the different followers. When he summons a unit, it gets more health. We're pretty stacked now, though, at this point. But some of the final bosses can be insane. think we keep these two. Can't summon either, but again, we get 3 minions on the board immediately. It's because of how we're built. The Bilgewater board. Shanties in the background. Or at the very least, silly pirate singing. Oh, he buffed and buffed and buffed. So Tam here eats your stuff. When he's captured enough stuff, he levels up and obliterates everything he's captured. And then can capture and obliterate more. It's really nasty. I'm hoping he blocks this fella. Aha! Because then make him weaker. My fella survives. If he wants to take damage trying to acquire taste, that's fine. Old codger. So that's just a lobster with boxing gloves. Summoned more. That little ripple effect on a card means it's fleeting. You won't keep it in your hand at the end of the turn. I'm going to wait and see if he tries. That's a lot of lobster. Right, well, we kill Tam. He's left himself open. Block that one. Is it worth saving 4 health? 2 health, rather, by letting this guy get bodied? No, because I want to buff him with the lady next turn. Lulu will hit any of them, but not enough yet. It's still something.
Yup, that tasted purple.
Oh, nope, she got the 1 bonus, so that did it. I love the voice acting in this game. Oh, I was going to go anyway. Especially if you're playing a card with a load of their followers, the back and forth and the storytelling, like, they can build through mini arcs almost. It's really, again, with the team being less resourced than they were before, there's less of it, but, man, it's so good. Alright, you buff Lulu, buff you. Oh no, I need to buff them both. You. Jack gets through any of it, but we deal with the rest. Goddamn yordles. They're not my cup of tea, but even I have to respect them in this one.
You spurn my gift.
Right, and then I play this arachnid, which is going to capture Jack. Nom. Oh, he's going to get beaten up by the crab anyway, but eh. Then Jack comes back again. I'm a fool. And he gets all his buffs back. Oh no. Get a little spell from Lulu there. We can give an ally barrier or an enemy vulnerable. Oh, hey Fiddle. But as this purple gem says, this is focus, so I can't do this in reaction to an opponent, but it's fast for me. Sorry, Jack, I didn't mean to cut off your dialogue with your old wise fry here. Look at all that personality on display, by the way. It's so good! Who do I bubble? Oh, I bubble Fiddlesticks. Aye. And usually, I'm pretty open to things being R34'd. But Yordles are like, coded and built like children. So, don't. There is a lot of League stuff on there, though. As you'd expect, with such a big game and a diverse cast. At least the diverse cast gets a showing. But aye, be careful in your wanderings. To terrify or not to terrify, that is the question. I can capture the wise guy. I feel as though that's not going to be enough. I just don't want Fiddle to get bodied immediately. How much nightmare are we looking at? He's got 18 cards left. I need a little more spookiness. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to approach it. I think I eat the big one. Get him, spider. Nom. Always is, AJ. Always is.
Ready for a beating, Pablo?
Aye, and I'm ready to provide it.
Ah, here's Pablo. He's a Scottish boxtopus. Some otters do help him out. Again, you think of the MMO, you get like a Jack-centric dungeon with all his boys. Awesome. Okay. What I want to do is I do that with Lulu. Because even if I take her up to 9 attack, that's not going to help. Leave this guy hiding.
Colors.
If I terrify, they both lose 2 and 2. Do that. Oh, which gave me more summons. Nice. And Fiddle leveled. Might be GG. Not quite.
Come on, Rib.
I can then do the spider.
Tremendo. Choppity.
You spend a long time just going through the artwork of this game and having a grand old time.
Aw, is it over? Oh well.
It was, Lulu. It was. Oh, that last quest. Win games after leveling up 2 different champions. Oh. Very doable quest, I think. How do cards level? Well, there's the meta progression here, which is sort of its own thing. But the level up for each champion, which are mainly the characters from League or those that have been created for it, they all have their own unique levels. And it varies card to card. We can have a look at some champions for you in a moment. Go into the collection. Get ourselves a gold vault. Something good. Some Ari fragments. Sure. Wanted to make an Ari deck that worked, but it was very difficult. Especially when it was more PvP centric. So if I back out here and go into my collection. Dragon decks. Loved it. Right, it puts champions at the top. Let's look at one of the earliest ones we had, for example. You can see they all have a level up at the bottom on these champions. I'm just trying to find, where is she? Fiora. 4/4/4. Challenger so she can grab enemy units and choose which one blocks her. She levels up upon killing 2 enemies. Once she's leveled up, she's a 4/5/5. When she's killed 4 enemies and survives, you win the game. That's Fiora. We can have other simple ones as well. We've got Brom here. He survives damage. He summons a Poro. He's a 4/0/6 with Challenger and Regen. Once he survives 10 plus damage, he levels. And then when he survives damage, he summons a Mighty Poro, which you might remember from the fighting game. Big old fellow with a hammer and the eye patch. But then things get a little weird with some. Evelyn, for example, League's Demon of Lust. When you or an ally kill a husk, which are little things her and her companions summon, she levels up and nicks its keywords. When she's leveled, she transforms back into her previous form until you level a certain number of times. So you're kind of in and out of grabbing keywords and stuff. All her followers are pretty gnarly as well. I go to one of my favourites. Where are you? Been all sorts. Ah, the Shuriman ones, the Ascended, which is their own tribe, have 3 level ups. For Renekton, deal 10 damage. And then you have to restore the Sun Disc, which is like its own mechanic. So at the moment here, he's like a 4/5/5 overwhelm. When he attacks, he gets +3/+3. That's pretty strong. If you restore the Sun Disc, he's a 4-mana 10/10 with overwhelm, and when he attacks or block, he deals 2 to all of it. It's busted. Yes, Evelyn is very Slaanesh, yes. But it's the scale of it. So here, right, and the composition of the cards, Renekton is attacking this area, this temple where Nasus is. They're brothers, they have a big old history in League. He has this big old cleaver weapon. That's all well and good. They start fighting. Renekton's tribe fights Nasus's tribe. And then they both become giant kaiju. That pillar from before that he was stood in front of is now smushed between the two of them having a good old go. As they level up, that story kind of continues. It also has its Exodia in Rise here. You create these delves that let you find world runes. When you've seen 3 of them, he levels up, so you can find more runes. And if you attack with all 5 of these runes, you win. It's like a spell-only deck with just Rise. He's a Runeterran champion. So usually decks in the way that in Magic the Gathering you can be like 2 colours, right? You can be white, blue, white, black, but you can't be free for the most part. Runeterra champions with this symbol have their own rules. So in Rise's case, you may put any non-targeted burst and focus spells into your deck during deck building. Otherwise, you can only build champions that have the same region and have 2 regions. There are some exceptions, like these multi-region ones with Bandle City get a little finicky and confuse me a lot of the time. Shyvana is one of my favourites. I love dragons in all games, and I love my strong dragon lady. She is great. She has Fury. When they kills units, they get +1/+1. When she attacks, she gets a temporary +1/+1. So Grant is a permanent buff. Give is a by the turn buff. When she's dealt 16 damage, or dragons in general have dealt 16 damage, she becomes a bigger dragon. When she attacks, she gains temporary 2 and 2, and creates a fleeting strafing strike, which is this ability, where the dragon can hit something and then heal. It's amazing! If I go all the way down to my favourite, to the big man, or second favourite first, the Volley Bear, which is, this is now you're looking at your bigger control decks. Play the Relentless Storms, which is, it deals 4 damage 3 times to different targets or hits the enemy necklace. His whole thing are these like Altars of Storms that lower the cost of summoning high cost units, Titanic units, anything that's 8 cost, 8 attack, or 8 health. When he levels, every time you play or attack, he then does those storms. Everything has Overwhelm, i.e. Trampo, and it's just fantastic. But the big one is Aurelian Soul. He's a 10-10-10, so we're talking big. We're talking you should ramp to it, you should control to it, you should do all your slow card game things. Was very difficult to get it working in metas, apart from some very specific metas where it was briefly broken. And I forced my dragon deck into platinum rank. It was great. So he works with those celestial cards, which is a separate tribe of cards that you can't main deck. They come from their own like pool of cards. The round end, if your allies have 20 plus power, he gets big. Then all those celestials that you're creating at random each turn cost 0. And those celestials can now be a 0 mana 12/12 that buffs everything by 2/2 and gives them Overwhelm. It's broken. And I love our celestial dragon. And he's the only one who knows he's in the card game. I don't care what you write about me, you middling creature. Just make sure I'm described as handsome and magnificent. Also, very, very intelligent. Can you spell that? He's great. And then he just goes full, I'm gonna take the world. Handsome, magnificent, and also very, very intelligent, spelt wrongly. You've got to love it. This mountain, in the world of Runeterra, is their Everest. It is the... You're absolutely right, AJ. I'm apologising for nothing. This is the Mount Everest of the world. It is the tallest mountain. This is Aurelian Soul, captured at the top of that mountain with this big old crown that Targon put on his head. He longs for the day to be free so he can make them pay. Like this little detail of his claw kind of going through that barrier. And in League, if you've ever seen him, he has these cosmic stars flying around me because he can just hurl the cosmos at people. And his voiceover is my bloody favourite. Speaking of, this is the first stream of this, and I have been going a bit, but I do want to do one more adventure. And I do want to play as Aurelian Soul for doing so, because I love him. Hang on. I just realised what I need. I need to get off the Nightmare one and go to a base one, because I don't want to be stressed. I want to be silly. Which is one of these weedy ones. Hi, Caitlin. Oh, game start. I get a Dragon Roost. Well, that feels on brand. And his stuff gets 1 health. 1 health. Oh, wait. I started it with Fiddle. Whoops. Hang on. How do I do this? I got too excited. Retire. There you go. Swap. Aurelion. Play. Same. Again. Go. Aurelion will also help with the quest to level up champions. Let's see. Round start, gain spell mana. Lovely. Broken. Love it. Some spiders. We go crush them. So with Aurelion, you want to create cards, play those created cards, which lowers the cost of champions, i.e. Aurelion. Also, I have a skin for him, because on League, like on League, you get skins. So I have the Storm Dragon skin, which was an older battle pass. And I love it because I love lightning things. And all of the stuff that was FOMO and is gone now rotates into the shop on occasion. For those still curious. Alright. Dragon Roost. Oh, in 2 turns we summon Involus Vox. I'm so glad this is here. So, of the celestial dragons who live on that grand mountain, look at this design. Where have you seen a dragon like that? Like, come on, Riot Games. Make the League MMO and put all these bloody dragons in it. Look how cool that is. And how unique it is. Like, dragons as a concept can be so much. And don't get me wrong, I love our grand old just dragon-ass dragons. But this is just so interesting. There's loads of them in it. I get this little spacey lady to discard a card and find me a celestial card. Oh, we get a cheap one, I think. They're both cheap. Do the charger because he's got a bit more stats. We summon him. That's going to lower the cost of our Aurelions by 2. So we're slowly going to get to them. And because of Aurelion's very gracious hero power, the stats of all our stuff are doubled. It took a wee bit to earn Aurelion. To get him and get him leveled up, you have to do the monthly challenges in PvE, which especially early on is quite difficult to do. But over time, you get there, you get him, and he's busted, and you can have a grand old time. Take the spell, because it's easier to cast, and we need to get other champions. Now, there are a load of harder difficulty stuff nowadays, which should make it a little more troublesome. Even so, he can still hold his own. And as you can see for our poor spider opponent here, even though they have sinister poros, very scary. We don't know where he got the bedsheet in the Shadow Isles. We don't know where he found it. And he doesn't seem to be possessed. He's just here, hanging out with the ghosts. We block and boot these things. I'm not worried. Not scared. We've got another dragon here, also from up the mountain. White Flame. And now, just because I want... Oh, hey, Involus Vox. He's only got 1 Poro out, so this is a little overkill. But...
This is their end. I'm the forger of stars.
Poro's not afraid of ghosts. But he will be afraid of the sky, like an exploding planet.
You dare try to tame me?
And there he goes. I'm just going to summon Master Yi for good measure. When he attacks, he just hits something. It's great.
Blade and body. Unraveled.
Bang.
My lesson is complete.
Yi, how dare you steal the line from Aurelion? Oh, it counted as level up. Good, good. I love this dragon. I love him in League. I love him here. He's not going to be able to go into the fighting game, okay? They can't put him in the fighting game because he's the size of the planet. But I hope they make him an announcer. We'll pick more champions, level them up. Cheaper the better. Ooh, Victor for more created cards. Yes, 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 yes. Go to the shop. Exactly. Power overwhelming. That's Aurelian. See if we can get some more voice lines out of him as we go. These adorable fey creatures. Ooh, excellent start. We invoke, get a created card. Cheap snake that costs nothing. Celestial snake. Enemy chose Scary Fey Elephant from Bandle City. I think Space Snake wins. Play this lady, discard that Gearhead, get another one. Ooh, we can reduce the cost of a card.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty sparkle fly.
So reduce the cost of Aurelian. Generates another big card. Speaking of dragons, we get a big icy one called Bodir of the Blackened Ice. This works with Lysandra. Fancy Frost Dragon. Still a little more in the vein of regular dragon, but even so, gets all this like black ice frost through it. Good stuff. Love the fur on it too. And then we have Cadragrin, the Infernal. This is one Shyvana tried to fight. They were just fighting in midair, and he's just truly on fire. Like proper Deathwing-esque. We run the gambit, and it's great. Oh. Cyphria, the lady you saw in the emote earlier, kind of biting her fist. All grown up and leading the army. Awesome. She had like several cards where it went through her story. Not quite sure where in the timeline, but it's fancy stuff. Pick Bodir. Play Misfortune, who will level up immediately because of Aurelian Soul.
All eyes on me.
Hey Laura Bailey. Always lovely to hear your voice. We get another one. Is that lethal before Aurelian comes down? It is. Don't want it to be lethal yet. Only because the quest needs me to level multiple characters. Misfortune, when she's leveled, shoots things. It's good. Also, when we summon Aurelian, because he auto-levels, he auto-rallies with the item we've got on him. Tiny star unicorn. Very nice. It's a pretty cool frost dragon. Fortunately, it doesn't slow inherently. It summons frozen thralls, which, after a countdown, come out as big 8/8 units with overwhelm. Aurelian, deal with this unicorn, please. Oh, living legends. This fills your hands with celestial cards, which when he's leveled basically means you win the game.
They think themselves. I am the forger of stars.
It might actually survive the celestial explosion because it has spell shield. But that's okay.
You dare try to tame me?
Snake will eat it.
Set sail.
Angry Renekton face. I like that they got it the AI could.
You've been wonderful, as have I.
There it is. He loves himself so much and he has every right to. Ooh. Malphite or Heimerdinger. Malphite is Big Rock. That works with the landmark cards and the area stuff. Now in League of Legends he's kind of just a spiky rock. Here you truly get the scale of the living mountain. Then when he levels up, he's an angry living mountain. Fighting these... See these little dots down here? The little peoples, just little peoples, as he kaijus his way into the world. It's good stuff. And we're going big, so why not? Shop. I mean, we can buff Malphite, that doesn't seem necessary. Grow my health to match my power, not as useful. Spells cost him one less. Yes, that can be broken. Beefcake Mountain indeed, AJ. Apt descriptor. Go kill these wraiths. Again, part of the fun of this PvE mode is when you get to the point of having something truly overpowered, whether baseline or not. That's the joy right there. Just playing it and being stupid broken. Don't get me wrong, I like a challenge in this game too. But some days, I just want to hear Aurelian Sol scream sweet victory as we crush our foes. Get another card. That one.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
It's a Solari. So this is Leona's Sun Tribe. Around Targon. Again, just building out these different tribes and factions of characters. So that one day the MMO can make use of them. We create another card. We'll take the cheap one. Reduces everybody else's cost. Gives me another one. Let's see. Play Victor.
With utmost efficient as humanity ends, the machines rise.
I really like these level ups that integrate the card into it. I felt like they were pretty cool. So, whenever he levels up, or once a turn, he gives you these that create a random keyword on him. And because it's a created card, it's going to lower the cost of all our other champions. And generate more. The Priestess is a beefcake too. Beefcake deck, absolutely. There's a lot of beefcakes. Twisted Fate. You'll have seen him in a number of League cinematics. Wheeling and dealing them.
Back at the table.
It's all good stuff. Malphite's turn. Stun that enemy. Auto level.
Only place to go is down.
Big. And Twisted Fate starts activating. Now, Twisted Fate had to be, when they first did their standard rotation to take cards out of ranked play, he was one of the first to go. He was busted. He's like a card that works with card draw and then doubles up on card draw. It got really out of hand. We've leveled up more than 2. Goodbye.
It was in the cards.
He's a Gambit-esque fella. Maybe a little less showy than Gambit. Oh, speaking of champions. Randomir, Lee Sin. Randomir's going to lower his own cost, so we do him. Speaking of beefy. He is the Undying. I don't quite remember his story. It was something to the realm of like the Darkin Demon Aatrox. Not Demon. The Darkin Aatrox kind of said, I will be the one to kill you. Live. Left him on the battlefield. And he's almost been undying ever since. Oh, this is a cool Freljord one. When you summoned, you grant units in your deck their stats. And then draw a unit with 5+ power. So if you buff this card to all hell, you'd end up just having a crazy deck. There were some fancy strategies that came out with stuff like that. Got more Vestia. Speaking of more beef. Chunkier beef, for sure. But look at the personality. Again, you think the MMO, how many race combinations you're going to get? What kind of characters you're going to be able to make? There's so much to consider. More beef. Ice Troll. One of Malphite's beefy boys. This big rock. That is just a mountain that has decided to stand up. Beautiful stuff. Inspire power. Nope. Nope. Challenge is okay. Take that. Don't need to heal. I can cut a card. Anything useless. This fella's kind of useless. We've only really been discarding him. Lee Sin.
Your will, my hand.
The Blind Monk. He was one of the champions in ranked. That was one of the first to be rotated too. When he levels up and kind of kicks something, he kicks it into the Nexus. You take bonus damage, and if it survives, he sends it back to your hand anyway. You spend spells, he also gains like Challenger and then gets Barrier so he can't be damaged. Which was pretty nasty. Oh, that's not a great starting hand. No, we can still get an Invoke.
Master yourself, master your enemy.
Let's see, what can we get here? Do the Golden Sisters. Again, more celestial beings. Summons both of them at once. One has Lifesteal, one has Elusive. We'll pick them because their cost's going to go down each turn. So Lee Sin's going to punch us now. Luckily, I can block.
Leave or burn.
He gets these just from the power on the enemy's nexus, so he's able to buff himself. But because we've got barrier, I'm not too bothered. It just means he doesn't take the damage. It's also a give, not a grant, so he only has that attack bonus for the 1 turn. Barriers knock off each other, nothing happens. I haven't got any cheap created cards yet, so... Not generated anything. That can change with this goat, though. When the goat swings, it gets a gem.
I can learn from watching you.
See if he can put all on it. Nope. Goodbye, Lee Sin. Give me that gem. Which we've reduced the cost of.
Dragon spirit.
Oh, summoned another. Lets me heal it. It will manifest another cheap card. We could Galio. Don't want to Galio. Manifest a spell the enemy's played. So that lets me play those little cheap knock-on spells he had. Thank you, Zoe. Yep, that gives me that strike. If I play that, it's going to knock down the cost some more. And then we get to summon both Tyrondemir and Malphite.
Who would face me? I'll never yield!
So his level up there was, if I would die, I level up instead. Pretty fun. He's just your standard big card, but it was fun to play.
I am very strong with this is my mountain.
More big. I know, the shocked face. It is easy to pick your 6 favourite emotes, but I never set them on the Path of Champions because I don't use them often.
Sight firm.
Oh my, the enemy swung. Alright, good luck. Build a whole deck around it, I swear.
Next time.
Now we play Aurelion, who will rally, and then we'll swing and win.
He knows stars. Now we walk the constellations bow to me.
Dialogue overlapped a little bit, but it's fine. Again, intelligent dragons who talk back. It's good stuff.
You dare try to tame me?
Bye, Lee Sin.
I won't stand by.
You are brave, young one.
Lovely overkill. So because so much can happen in a turn, you can see why they've added the speed upgrades.
Day to be Malphite.
It is a good day to be Malphite, Malphite. That's a very good point. It's our weekly chest. Getting levels as we get games done. Ooh. We want the one on Victor because he creates more cards. Scout lets him attack twice. Did I get that other quest done? I think it did. It's a permanent quest, so there's no time limit there. Oh, yep, I got all the other battle pass ones done, apart from just earning them passively, or this big one for Fiddlesticks or Evelyn to win a 5-star adventure, which I have not done yet. But because that's 7 weeks, I think that will apply to the next battle pass, so I'm not too bothered. As of yet. Give things overwhelm for an easy win, or we make them stronger. We make them stronger. Champion item chest means we get a buff for any of those champion cards, ideally Aurelion. Game start, foe summons Targon's Peak. Round end, everyone draws 1. Targon's Peak is a card that randomly picks a card in either player's hands and makes it cost 0. So with all our chunky folks, we might get very lucky. Don't want to keep both of them, not with Aurelion in hand. I need to be able to create cards to then get Aurelion. Lady Fortune for free.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good. That's Captain Fortune.
Oh, lovely double. Oh no, deal 6 to a unit and silence it. Sunburst? You scumbag.
Hell of a day.
So upsetting. Don't need my heal. Ooh, Aatrox. I would love to have Aatrox, but I need the cheap stuff.
Build
can discard one A soul. Try and get the other one out cheaper next turn. Akshan costing 0.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
Akshan's kind of like if you cross like that Nathan dude from Uncharted and Ezio from Assassin's Creed and make him very suave and handsome. People hated him in League because he came in with all kinds of garbage. Grappling hooks, team revives, there's too much mobility, people lost their minds.
I do not break rules, I bend them.
We don't quite get his mechanic going, but that's fine. I turn to attack, swing with all of these, play Aurelion, swing to attack again.
Ooh, that's new.
So if I'm watching something in the background, or just having a relaxed day, this is why I play this game.
Your path for the mountain changes.
Again, I love the challenge when I'm looking for it, but sometimes you just want to chill out and do silly things. See this awesome card art, the ridiculous voice lines that go along with them.
Your favorite. Wonder at my creations.
That's probably my favourite line from him. I know, scared Jinx face.
This is your comeuppance, Targon.
Oh, another dragon. Eclipse dragon. Again, look at the design. It's got 4 eyes for whatever reason. It's got this crown because that's the sun, and then it's got like a night sky tail. Fantastic. Unfortunately, dead.
Feelings.
You've been wonderful, as have I.
Get some more rewards. What else do we get? We keep with the card we've already got in the deck. Couple more matches to go. I'd rather try and get Aurelion. And we do. Summon a copy of him. Yeah, why wouldn't we? See, anything fancy here? No. Ooh, round start, we create a time and dedication. That's just a 1/1 buff, or it permanently buffs an item. Like an equipment we saw in the Darkin deck. Because we have the ability that makes our spells cost 1 less, this will cost 0. This means we can get Aurelion Sol and other heroes pretty much immediately. Do this one. The other one we'd have to wait for the foe to finish off itself. This one it's just going to keep summoning copies of its minions. If it has the mana and gets to that point. Which it won't. See. That creates a thingy in hand, so that's alright. Let's see how quickly we can get Aurelion out. Oh, we ended up becoming 2. That's okay. Double up with you. Play another one.
What can I say? I'm an adaptable guy.
Do the Forge.
Upgrade. Nice.
Play Misfortune, who will level up and summon a copy of herself.
Play, no pay. No regrets, no mercy.
Swing, bada bada. Make sure the people with Overwhelm are the ones who swing. And it's over. Don't even get to Aurelion, who was next turn immediately. Yep. We get it, Misfortune. You've got him. It's over.
Fortune smiles.
I like that. This Battlecraft quest didn't used to be repeatable, but now they've made it so, which I think is great, especially if you're not paying for the Battle Pass and you want to try and earn all the free stuff on it. Helps a lot. It's very good. If people want to farm some out, let them do so. Oh, Victor gets a double up. Yes, please. We get one more shop. Oh, do I take Shyvana in? I can afford to. By the power, by Shyvana. Yes! Whether or not we get to summon her is another thing, but there we are. Who can we cut? Starry Scamp. Can sometimes cost 0. But we don't often play you. And for Caitlyn. Again, any Arcane fans will know Caitlyn.
I'm on the case.
This is kind of when she is Sheriff. Maybe at the end of Arcane Season 2. Maybe a little further beyond that. Her mechanic is flash bombs. Like how Teemo puts mushrooms in our deck, she puts flash bombs in our deck. When they come out, they lightning blast a unit for like 1 damage. When she's leveled up, the more of those that have activated, she does big damage on a shot to us. That's a lot of creation stuff. Enemies attacking first. Gonna summon Caitlyn immediately.
Well, what have we here?
Don't mind the cat, it's an evil genius in disguise. As far as I remember. And kind of special forces uniforms. Going after a villain who might be prepared. See what we get off the invoke first. Sneck's the best one to go, because it's cheap and cheerful.
One step ahead.
We'll take the hit. Or rather, let it get hit by her.
Trap is set.
Then Victor will double his stats and boop her in the face.
The future is still
Your
as
future is behind bars, Victor. Freeze.
Oh, I didn't even realise she had dialogue with him.
Hurry up.
Makes sense. For anyone who has not played League but has watched Arcane, don't read too much into it. We're not there yet. This is in the future.
His blessing is light, his anger death.
Shyvana!
Fire and fury burn. Now I take to the sky.
Oh, what a glorious way to end this first stream of Legends of Runeterra. That's so much damage. And if by some reason they don't immediately die, Aurelian will come out. I love that little effect. A dragon flyby.
Burn all in dragon fire.
Yes. There you go. But Aurelian there, fully maxed out at level 4. A little bit OP. But my goodness, is it fun to do. Get some levels. We get some booty. Let's open it all up. Some Stardust. I wish I could do more with Stardust. At the moment, you don't get enough to buy big stuff, and you get just a little bit. You can start getting bits and bobs. Could also mean they have a bit to bob on the battle pass as well, in the same vein. And luckily for that, you can hit this little claymore button. And they have like 4 more sets to get for it. Don't know if I'll be able to get all that in 6 days, but that's alright. Nothing crazy on them anymore. It's just resources. It's a good amount of resources, don't get me wrong. But it's not like a fancy bit of card art at the end like it used to be. Limited dev team these days. They work with what they've got. And they know what's selling. Because people do like this mode. Ooh, 40 Ash Fragments. That's pretty good. 40 Samira Fragments. Also very good. It's like a proper level on each of them. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is Legends of Runeterra. We'll be back with another stream tomorrow. Dragon Age don't come out till Thursday, assuming we get it all installed in time for the evening stream. Comes out at about 4 PM, so to get 100 gigabytes installed, then to check it's working, we'll We'll see. But thank you very much for watching. For those who've come along live, for those who'll check this out later, thanks for giving me your time. If you enjoyed yourselves, hit that like button. Get the channel and these videos out to more folks. Subscribe for more content here on the channel. We're at 9 AM on the weekdays with World of Warcraft, 6 PM with other games. As we said, got Dragon Age coming up, and the Monster Hunter Wilds beta on Friday. You can find playlists to all the different games we've played right here on the channel. So till next time everyone, much love, take care, and bye bye.